And now, it's time. Now, this opening is the last of this universe, ending the Arrow saga, the Jolene verse, or really whatever you call it. And we're going to try to pinpoint everything we see in here. Now, this first one might be kind of rough, because for this first little sequence where she turns into the screen and you get the shot of her eyes, this may be up in the air for me because this is like a tricky one to put this onto, because she has a hand on her hip, arm behind her back, and then the turn. And that could be any of these two. Or well, it could be anything past this too also. But I'm going to be giving this to y'all for now. After that, we get a shot to what looks like the end of the world opening. Except here, we get the conclusion that Dio is defeated. After that, there's a pause and a transition to Savage Garden, the carrier pigeon holding Star Platinum's stand disc. We speed right over to the car accident that landed Jolene in jail with Romeo. So right after this is the reunion of Jotaro and Jolene inside of the prison. The outline of her hand in purple holds the amulet with the piece of the arrow, also showing the events after with Whitesnake's cream ability. And then it shows the picture of Jotaro and Jolene's mom together. We still don't have a name for her. Now here is either standless or just recently got stand comatose state Jotaro, but right after this, Jolene, she looks to the sky. Remember this because we're going into a similar shot later. Next, we get a couple of silhouettes of our characters with semblances of their backstories in black and white right behind them. There's Hermes and the scene where Gloria hides from Sports Max, and then the shot of the river where they find Gloria's body. Second, we get the scene where Anasui finds his ex in bed with another man. And what happens after is what sends him to jail in the first place. The other shot is of the many things he's taken apart to examine, which tracks back to his childhood. Third, we have a shot of Emporio's stand, burning the house down. And then there's a skeleton in the back, and I honestly don't know what that's supposed to be. I feel like it's either Emporio's mom or the remains of Poochie. You tell me, honestly. And finally, there's a weather report shot where it's Perla jumping to her death. You know how wild that is? That's two sisters of like the main characters. Can you believe that? It's wild. Anyways, everyone also had symbols inside of their silhouettes that track their character. Hermes had kisses and stickers to symbolize her stand and our love. Anasui had wheels that you'd see on a ship because of Diver Down, you know, like I guess it's whatever. Emporio had a ball and a mitt, a bunch of those because baseball. And Weather Report had clouds, and that is that key? Is that the male symbol? I don't know. I have not a clue what that is right now, but it's bound to happen. We're gonna get a lot of, oh my gosh, of course, that's gonna be me after the comments inform me once again on something like this. And that's not blaming you. I genuinely don't know what that is right now. Now here's the group looking at the moon in its third quarter, at least one waning crescent away from the new moon. And after that is a shot of Poochie with the sons of Dio. Now, this clock tower that's supposed to be present in the prison, the debris falling upwards is definitely a sign of Sea Moon, and the clock speeding forward is most likely a reference to Made in Heaven, or if not that, like Sea Moon's like byproduct stuff that was on the come up, but realistically it's Made in Heaven, because we have to be honest here. Like, this is why even with Jotaro coming through right here and then stopping time, you see Poochie soon after, similar to when he killed him. Next is one of the coolest callbacks in any of the openings, with this sequence here referencing the first ever JoJo opening, Sono Chiro Sadame. Come on! Except it's in reverse because we see Jonathan, we see Joseph, Jotaro, Josuke, Giorno, and then we see Jolene all here, and she comes alive as Jonathan did with her power and her pose and then she faces off against a Made in Heaven Poochie in the Joestar manner. And we get this excellent panning shot across all the Joestars of every part, just powerful. And Jolene sets up the next transition into a final standoff, similar to Jonathan and Dio. The zoom out after is most likely another reference to Made in Heaven, as like this doing this cosmic stuff and universe and yada yada. And then the opening is not over because we also get a final look at the amulet and then a transition into the Irene verse, the final shot of the manga, you know. And then it's over. I was considering referring every pose to its manga panel, or at least like its manga panel contemporary, but maybe I'd do that in like this grand video where I just go over all the openings. You know, that seems really cool. But we'll get to it when we get to it. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Subscribe to stay updated. Thank you all for watching. Godspeed.